The House will come to order. Members, our pledge today will be given by Benjamin Presley. He is a ninth grader that attends Gateway Classic Conversational here in Montgomery. He is the guest of Representative Ingram.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day and for all the blessings that you have given us. Lord, you are in control, and I pray that today we would recognize that and that we would seek to do your will. God, I thank you for our great nation, our great state, and all the freedoms that we've been privileged with here. I thank you for all these men and women serving their fellow citizens as representatives, and I pray that they would seek your wisdom in their deliberations and decisions today. And I pray that they would seek the good of others above themselves. Lord, please continue to bless us, our state, and our great nation. We thank you and pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Members, today's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Autumn Denson. She is a ninth grader that also attends Gateway Classical Conversation here in Montgomery, and she is the niece of Representative Jess Rails.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call roll.
Mr. Speaker, Albright, Baker, Barnes, Bedsole, Blackshear, Bolton, Boyd, Bracey, Brinyark, Brown, Butler, Carnes, Chestnut, Clark, Klaus, Collins, Colvin, Crawford, Crow, Daniels, Datcher, Drummond, Dubose, Easterbrook, Ellis, England, Ensler, Estes, Faulkner, Fiddler, Fincher, Fort, Garrett, Gidley, Gavan, Gibbons, Gray, Hall, Hammett, Harrison, Hassel, Hendricks, Hill, Hulk Jones, Hollis, Hulsey, Hurst, Ingram, Jackson, Jones, Keel, Kirkland, Lamb, Lands, Lawrence, Lee, Lipscomb, Lomax, Lovern, Marcus, McCampbell, McClammy, Mooney, Moore M, Moore P, Morris, Myrex, Oliver, Paramore, Pascal, Pettis, Pringle, Rafferty, Ream, Reynolds, Rigsby, Robbins, Robertson, Ross, Sellers, Sells, Shaver, Shaw, Shiree, Simpson, Smith, Sorrells, Stadhagen, Dandridge, Starnes, Stringer, Stubbs, Tillman, Travis, Treadaway, Underwood, Wadsworth, Warren, Witt, Wharton, Wilcox, Wood R., Yarborough.
"67 members being present, a quorum is present. The House is ready to transact business. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Lee, Chairman Lovern.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request that leaves of absence be granted for absent members.
Any objections? Hearing no objections, absent members are excused. The chair further recognizes the gentleman from Lee.
Mr. Speaker, I have a report.
House of Representatives, your Standing Committee on Rules begs leave to report that it has carefully examined the Journal of the House for the 5th legislative day and finds the same to be correct. Signed, Representative Joe Lovern, Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the reading of the journal at length for the 5th legislative day be dispensed with.
Any objections? Hearing no objections, the reading of the journal is dispensed with. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Mobile, Speaker Pro Tem Pringle, for the purpose of making announcements.
Mr. Speaker, there are no announcements today.
Mr. Pro Tem, you're further recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I move when we adjourn today, we leave the journal open for the clerk to complete his paperwork and reconvene on Tuesday, January 27th at 1 p.m. next Tuesday.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. The ayes have it. Motion prevails. If I can have everybody's attention just for a minute. We have, just so everybody knows, I know we set a time for Tuesday. That is not in concrete. That will be fluid. Due to the weather conditions, it's moving in mostly to the northern part of the state. We've been in touch with the EMA. They're telling us right now that it's very possible travel conditions in North Alabama, especially north of Birmingham, will be impassable. So with that being said, the budget hearings that was supposed to be held Monday will be held Thursday, starting at 8:30. So that's been moved. The second thing is we will make a decision Sunday afternoon on when we will re-adjourn. So just be alert, stay around, at least have your phone close to you Sunday afternoon. I'm going to talk to Pro Tem Gudger. We talked this morning. I'm going to talk to him Sunday after lunch. We certainly don't put anybody's health in danger by traveling on bad roads. So just FYI, just pay close attention, and then we will let you know Sunday for sure what we'll be doing. Thank you. Clerk will now receive reports from standing committees and will receive those reports throughout the day. The House is now in position to introduce bills and resolutions. The House now will receive resolutions report from the Committee on Rules. The clerk will read those resolutions.
House Joint Resolution Number 14 by Representative Faulkner, mourning the death and celebrating the life of Ella Cobbs Cook. Senate Joint Resolution Number 4 by Senator Gudger, celebrating the life and mourning the death of Dorothy Lee Hatcher. Senate Joint Resolution Number 6 by Senator Singleton, mourning the death and celebrating the life of former Representative Bryant Melton Jr. Senate Joint Resolution Number 9 by Senator Allen, mourning the death and celebrating the life of the Honorable Samuel Allen Harper. Senate Joint Resolution Number 10 by Senator Figures, celebrating the life of Claudette Colvin.
Move for adoption.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Resolution Number 12 by Representative Travis, commending Mr. Matthew Caleb Hess for his outstanding advocacy and commitment to increase awareness of type 1 diabetes.
Move for adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution Number 6 by Representative Warren, recognizing April 5th, 2026 as Booker T. Washington Day at the state of Alabama.
Move for adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution Number 11 by Representative Travis, recognizing November 2026 as Diabetes Month in the state of Alabama.
Move for adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution Number 17 by Representative Blackshear, establishing the Alabama Community College Football Study Commission.
Move for adoption.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution Number 18 by Representative Collins, commending the Alabama chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution and the Sons of the American Revolution.
Move for adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution Number 26 by Representative Gidley, recognizing and commending Mackenzie Fuller for outstanding achievement and service as Miss Jacksonville State University 2025.
Move for adoption.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is adopted.
House Joint Resolution Number 29 by Representative Faulkner, commending Jake Harper for his years of service to the Alabama Farmers Federation.
Move for adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
Senate Joint Resolution Number 2 by Senator Wagner, committee appointed to notify the governor that the legislature is in session.
Move for adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
Senate Joint Resolution Number 3 by Senator Wagner, committee appointed to escort the governor to a joint session of the legislature.
Move for adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
Senate Joint Resolution Number 5 by Senator Jones, recognizing Piney Woods cattle as the official heritage cattle breed of the state of Alabama.
I move for adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
Senate Joint Resolution Number 8 by Senator Williams, naming the bridge on United States Highway 98 that spans Big Creek Lake in Wilmer, Alabama, the Lamar Harrison Memorial Bridge.
Move for adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
Senate Joint Resolution Number 12 by Senator Orr, recognizing the 250th anniversary of the United States Postal Service.
Move for adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted.
Senate Joint Resolution number 13 by Senator Orr, commending the Alabama chapters of the Daughters of the American Revolution and the Sons of the American Revolution.
Move for adoption.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted. Clerk, call the first uncontested local bill.
On page 16 of the calendar, House Bill number 119 by Representative Brown relating to Mobile County.
Question for the body is the adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 69 ayes, 0 nays. BIR has been adopted. Question now is final passage of 119. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 29 ayes, 0 nays. HB 119 has passed. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 16 of the calendar, House Bill number 142 by Representative Wilcox relating to Mobile County.
Question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 66 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Question now is final passage of 142. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 23 ayes, 0 noes. HB 142 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 15 of the calendar, House Bill number 144 by Representative Carnes relating to Jefferson County.
Question for the body is the adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 58 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted. Question now is final passage of HB 144. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 21 ayes, 0 nays. HB 144 has passed. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 16 of the calendar, House Bill number 160 by Representative Bolton relating to Tuscaloosa County.
Question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 58 ayes, 0 nays. BIR has been adopted. Question now is final passage. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 16 ayes, 0 nays. HB 160 has passed. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 15 of the calendar, House Bill number 199 by Representative Treadaway relating to Jefferson County.
Question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 62 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Question now is final passage for 199. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 20 ayes, 0 nays. HB 199 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 15 of the calendar, House Bill number 234 by Representative Treadaway relating to Jefferson County.
Question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 61 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Question now is final passage of 234. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 23 ayes, 0 nays. HB 234 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 16 of the calendar, House Bill number 284 by Representative Colvin relating to Marshall County.
Question for the adoption is the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 59 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted. Question now is final passage of 284. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 13 ayes, 0 nays. HB 284 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 15 of the calendar, Senate Bill number 64 by Senator Kitchens relating to Marshall County.
Question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 58 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Question now is final passage of 64. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 11 ayes, 0 nays. 64 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 15 of the calendar, Senate Bill number 65 by Senator Kitchens relating to Marshall County.
Question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 62 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Question now is final passage of SB 65. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 14 ayes, 0 nays. SB 65 has passed. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 16 of the calendar, House Bill number 92, a constitutional amendment by Representative Brinyark relating to Tuscaloosa County.
Representative Brinyard, where you at? Anybody from that delegation want to explain what this is? Okay, Ron.
Yes, sir. HB 92 is a local constitutional amendment to allow the public to vote to allow any full-time mayor of Tuscaloosa County to join the retirement system of Alabama.
Yeah, you've heard the gentleman's explanation of the bill. Question for the body's adoption of the BR. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 61 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Question for the body is passage of HB 92. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members vote. Yeah, it requires 63 votes. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 63 ayes, 0 nays. HB 92 has passed. Question now is local application. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 40 ayes, 0 nays. HB 92 has passed. We have some guests in the gallery we'd like to recognize, Jamie and Joseph Deason, the parents of the two young people that did the pledge and the prayer today. Let's give them a big hand. It's good to have you with us. And also, we have Nick Barnett of Chilton County as Circuit Clerk as the guest of Smith and Sorrell. Let's give him a big hand, too. Thank you for being with us today. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a resolution.
Clerk, see the resolution.
House Resolution number 41 by the House Rules Committee, the Special Order Calendar.
Move for adoption.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? It is adopted. Clerk calls first bill on special order calendar.
On page 6 of the calendar, House Bill number 161 by Representative Sells relating to consumer protection.
Chairman Sells will recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 161 is about protecting children online and putting parents back in control. App Store is a gateway to what our children are exposed to online. This bill basically does two things. Puts parental permission before apps can be downloaded to a child's phone, and it requires that the app's age rating be accurate when related to the apps. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer. not ask for the VIR.
Yeah, you've heard the gentleman's explanation of the bill. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Van.
Listen, it's rare that I get out, come out to shoot at the very is the 6th day of the session. But let me tell you something. This is a good bill. I support this bill. I know there may be some amendments to it. I was a strong supporter of the Focus Act. I think we need more parental controls, certainly with these apps, with the companies, regardless of the social media platforms. And so I do know yesterday you came down and spoke with the Minority Caucus, but has there been any, are there any, how many amendments are coming and what will those amendments be? I know you'll get to that.
Yeah, we have, we're working on some amendments that I'm helping them with, and they're working on them now.
Okay, I just wanted to know if we were gonna get them here or were you gonna allow them to be placed in the Senate?
Well, we're going to work on what we can. So yesterday I said we didn't have time, but we are putting some together.
Okay, I was just trying to get the clarity. I just want to thank you
Okay.
for championing this this cause, this bill, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Sales, I appreciate you coming to talk to us because my biggest concern, like I said, what I've seen on TV as complaints and what we need to make sure that even after a parent has given consent and they have what should be an age-appropriate app, the complaints that I've seen is that after all of that, these children are working on these apps and things appear all of a sudden that shouldn't, that the app sponsor is held accountable and the app developer, because we just can't go after, we have to go after all that's involved. Because even when these parents that I'm seeing are complaining that the app worked well for a while, then one day they notice something on the app that shouldn't be. And I think you assured us that there's a category of deceptive marketing that they could be accused of, but we need to make sure that the developer and whoever is sponsoring that app is held accountable. And if we could, make sure that which you assured us yesterday, we step. And we know that thieves are always out there coming up with something new. But for that we know already, if we could make sure we got that covered, then we're going in the right direction.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for supporting me, helping to protect children. Thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Morgan, Representative Yarborough. While he's making his way down here, we've got some more guests in the audience. I'd like to recognize John and Melissa Dowser. They are the parents of Katie Dowser, which is paging for Representative Gidley. Let's give them a big hand. Thank you for being with us. Representative Yarborough.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As an app developer, I support this bill. I'm familiar with the process of not only the creation of apps, the full stack development and interaction with the App Store. And I think this is a great bill and a step in the right direction, and thank you for bringing it.
Well, and I want to thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience with me in the process of developing apps. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. My honor. Thank you.
Question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 94 ayes, 0 nays. The BIR has been adopted, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, if no further questions, I move for adoption.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Coffee, Representative Chestnut. Representative Chestnut, you've been recognized. Okay, I think I said just from Coffee County. You're not. You're from Dallas. I'm sorry about that, too.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Pretty good. We've been having some communication yesterday and this morning about an amendment that I think you would agree would be a friendly amendment to the into this bill, and it would satisfy some of the folks in retail business, the AG's office, as well as Apple. And have you had a chance to look at this proposed amendment?
Yes, sir.
And would you say that it is a friendly amendment?
Yes, sir. If it's the one I've seen, yes, sir.
Okay. So.
Yes, sir.
at
And
this time,
you know,
I'd like-
in any legislation, all of us, I think, are willing to work with people to try to help out where we can, right? So.
Okay.
Clerk, see the amendment.
Amendment to House Bill 161 by Representative Chestnut.
Care to explain your amendment, please?
Yes. So in this amendment, we're requesting that we replace line 68 on page 3 of the bill, number 10, to state in-app purchase, a charge associated with any user conduct within an app and billed by an app store, including but not limited to the acquisition of virtual currency, digital goods, digital services, or other apps. And then, of course, 11 would be moved to the next succession of lines, and 12 also, 13 would be moved down, 14 would be moved down, still remains the same, 15 remains the same, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, they would just be moved down a slot. And then also replace line 261 on page 10 with the following. Chapter 19 of Title 8 of the Code of Alabama, 1975. Provided, however, and this is very important, the Attorney General shall have the exclusive jurisdiction to bring an action pursuant to this act. Right?
Right.
And that would be the end of that. And then, of course, you also request to replace line 297 on page 11 with the following. This is called, I would refer to this as the Apple Safe Harbor provision. We say that under any applicable law, subsection D, an app store provider shall not be liable for a violation of this act if the app store provider generates an erroneous age category signal for a user as long as the app store provider demonstrates that the app store provider did all of the following. 1, used a commercially reasonable age verification process. 2, exercise due care in conducting the age verification process. 3, made reasonable efforts to reconcile any discrepancies between a parent's attestation of the minor's age and other age data collected in the ordinary course of account creation or use. Okay, and then also the last part would be replace lines 329 to 330 on page 12 with the following. The act shall become effective on January 1st, 2027. So we're pushing it back
Right.
to January of next year. So with that, I'd like to move for.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing these amendments and helping negotiate this out, work this out. I appreciate that, and I do support your amendments. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, you've heard the gentleman's explanation of the amendments, and the sponsor has said he supports those. Ms. Hall, you want to speak on the amendment? Yes, ma'am. Chair recognizes the lady from Madison, Representative Hall, speaking on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So just for my clarification, I'm going to start on page 1, your first amendment.
Okay.
So when we talk about the bill, what exactly does this part do as it relates to what the bill is trying to accomplish and this company requested?
Okay, that would be section 10.
That's correct, in-app purchase.
Yes. See, that is I refer to that as the Chick-fil-A amendment.
I see.
Okay. And so they don't want to have a situation where every time a young person tries to go and purchase a sandwich, that their parents have to agree to that each time.
Okay, all right. That's what I thought it meant. And it doesn't necessarily have, it's Chick-fil-A is responsible, but it could be McDonald's or Taco Bell or whatever. Any of those would be impacted by that. All right, I'm good on that.
Yes, ma'am.
On page 2,
Yes.
on page 2 of your amendment, in the line that deals with businesses' requests that
Yes.
the lawyers are okay with, what are we doing there other than the fact that the Attorney General gets involved?
Yes, so the Attorney General will be will have exclusive jurisdiction to enforce this. So there was a concern that we could possibly create another private right cause of action, and which of course.
Stop right there. What would be another cause of action?
Say for instance, if there was a violation of this
Okay.
particular law, that there were businesses that were concerned that if you do that, then lawyers would be able to come in and file, individual actions in courts, and which would potentially or arguably could drive up the cost of doing business, and so to try to consolidate all that power into the Attorney General's office so that the AG would be able to, because that is part of what the AG does, is look out for consumer interests and consumer protection.
But does this prevent an individual, in addition to this, from bringing a suit or bringing a case?
I would say that, yes, it does prevent that, but I believe that this could be used as probably evidence for an actual cause of action that's already on the books, but this wouldn't create a new cause of action.
Okay, so something that's already on the book, it could.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, and then on page 3, help me to understand, we're wanting to make sure that the individual or the child does not get to an app that is inappropriate. How does this, it says the provider shall not be liable for if the App Store provider generates an erroneous category signal. I'm trying to determine, based on what we've talked about earlier, what I've read earlier, that many times the app sends them to another platform that is not what that child or individual should be. Is that not an erroneous category?
I believe that could be, but of course, the provider, if they do all of these 3 points here, number 1, right, they use a commercially reasonable age verification process.
Okay.
Number 2, they exercise due care in conducting that age verification process.
Stop right there. What would you say is due care?
Well, I would say due care would be they exercise ordinary due diligence in making sure that they put together an age verification process under the normal course of business of what these providers would normally do, right? I don't think it requires any, like, I would say, what would an ordinary provider similarly situated do under that circumstance? That's pretty much what it's saying.
Okay, so that if somebody else was in that same situation, or whoever's in that situation, they would make sure they have done the appropriate things or what they considered most appropriate to make sure it does not happen.
Yes, yes. Sort of like if you're someone, like when you get behind the wheel of a vehicle and you're driving, like you're gonna exercise reasonable care to make sure that I'm not going to drive on a red light. And if I stop at a stop sign, I'm gonna do a real stop. I'm gonna look both ways, and then so it's exercising that reasonable care that under similar circumstances.
I think that gets it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, thanks, lady. Representative Rafferty, you want to speak on amendment to bill? Representative Gavan, you want to speak on the amendment or the bill? Okay. Question for the body now is adoption of the amendment. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 102 ayes, 0 nays. The amendment has been adopted.
Thank you.
Chairman
Thank you.
Sales.
Mr. Speaker, no more questions. Ask for final passage as amended.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Jefferson, Representative Rafferty.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for the recognition, Mr. Speaker. So I just had a couple questions, like clarifying points here that I was curious about with the bill. First thing is, how does this kind of differ from what is already available? So right now,
This is mandatory. The other, what's available now is all voluntarily, and
okay.
and basically the technology's there, but
Yep.
you have to search for it, and people that I talk to don't even know where it's at. So this is
Right.
just saying, hey, kind of like we've done with the filter, hey, turn it on. That's all we ask.
Okay, so with the section 2, it requires age verification using commercially available methods that are reasonably designed to ensure accuracy. What methods do you think, or do you anticipate being used? Have you consulted with any privacy advocates as far as what this will mean for
Yeah.
data collection and that kind of thing too?
Yeah, if you go down and also look, it'll say that the parents can give the age. When they set the phone up, the parents can put the age in at that time. That's where 90% of it will come from.
Okay, so the parents would do it that way.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
acceptable.
And let's see. Right now, the significant change section in section 118, I don't know if this was addressed in the amendment or not, but it seems quite broad to me at this point. So would a routine bug fix that inadvertently changes data handling trigger new parental consent requirements? Oh, yeah. So the significant change, section 118. Oops, sorry. So it's a material modification to an app's terms of service or privacy policy which does the following. So this is kind of broad. So I'm saying, would a routine bug fix, so apps routinely kind of update and that kind of thing.
Right. If
to
the
fix
update,
bugs,
if
would
it
that-
changes, if the age rating needs to be changed, or if in-app purchases or price changes and that kind of stuff, it's listed out pretty. It's the data collected is changed, and the monetization features change, or it alters the app's rating changes.
Okay.
You simply just get things for update, and you accept it or not.
Okay, so is this going to inconvenience? I guess is this going to inconvenience either small app developers or the public at large, who might be adults who are just trying to use their phone and for routine purposes?
You know, it could inconvenience somebody a little bit, but protecting children and a small inconvenience doesn't add up to me.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess my last real concern would be just with privacy, data collection, that kind of thing. You know, now we're tiering, what the phone
It's actually
is
going to be
carrying.
tighter now than it is, right?
It'll be tighter now.
Yes.
The data collection would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, appreciate your input and answering the questions. Nothing more at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Question for the body now is passage of HB 161. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to open co-sponsors at the appropriate time.
Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. HB 161 has passed. Mr. Clerk, let's open it up for co-sponsors, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank the gentleman. Clerk will lock the machines. Looks like we have 86 co-sponsors. Thanks, sir. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 10 of the calendar, House Bill number 93 by Representative Faulkner relating to civil procedure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this bill, known as Trey's Law, would limit non-disclosure agreements in civil cases involving sexual abuse, sexual assault, and trafficking. It would ensure survivors that they can share their stories without fear of legal repercussions. Other versions of Trey's Law were passed in Missouri and Texas in 2025. California and Tennessee also have similar legislation, and Governor Kemp of Georgia has announced this will be his top priority bill this session. Trey's Law is named for Trey Carlott, a victim of child sexual abuse while he attended a camp. After his abuser was sentenced to 3 life terms in 2010, Trey pursued justice to hold others involved accountable through civil litigation. That re-traumatizing process ended with a settlement agreement that included a restrictive NDA, barring Trey from ever speaking about his abuse. At the age of 28, Trey died by suicide after telling a therapist, "They will always control me and I'll never be free." Trey's Law ends the misuse of NDAs against sexual abuse, sexual assault, and trafficking victims in civil settlement agreements. NDAs, members, were created to protect trade secrets, intellectual property, and confidential data, but have since been misused to suppress survivors' stories and shield bad actors from accountability. NDAs and sexual abuse, sexual assault, and trafficking settlements have become a lawful form of hush money. I met with Trey's sister, Elizabeth Phillips, and she brought this bill to me. And Matt Woods is carrying it in the Senate, and it already passed the Senate unanimously, with no votes yesterday. So this is a good bill, members, I think, and I'm really glad that Elizabeth came and met with me and brought this to my attention, and glad to carry this so that we hopefully prevent what happened to Trey from happening to others. And with that, Mr. Speaker, if there's no questions, I'd move for the BIR.
Chair recognizes the lady from Madison, Representative Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Faulkner, would you yield?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Help me to understand about the NDAs, because just generally, we go out many times, they'll say, we'll talk about something with an attorney or something, sign this form. You know, that generally that's the NDA, right?
A non-disclosure
Exactly.
agreement. So you're prohibited from disclosing
Exactly.
facts about knowledge that you have.
Exactly.
And usually it's trade secrets. It's proprietary business information if you work for a company that you won't go out and disclose that.
How did it? And it bothers my heart to realize that a child has died because of this.
Yes, ma'am.
How do we get to that point where that was a situation that existed to create the need
Yeah.
for what we're doing today?
Well, you had entities and actors in
Entities and what?
entities or certain actors, individuals.
Would they be
that could
like
offer
attorneys? You talking about like attorneys?
No, so in this case, Trey. Well, the case is the law's named after Trey.
Sure.
In that case, he was trying to pursue remedies. His perpetrator was criminally given 3 life sentences.
Okay.
But then to pursue other people civilly who did not commit that, but that he believed and his family believed was liable
Okay.
for allowing that to happen, their settlement was entered. Well, the settlement was entered and it prevented him from being able to disclose the facts about his abuse. And
Stop right there.
Yeah.
So with the settlement, there was, as a part of the settlement, there was a signature or NDA that was signed
correct.
by the individual, the victim, that would not allow him to go back.
Would not allow him to talk about any of the facts that surrounded his abuse. And that was extremely traumatizing to him.
Of course.
To not be able to talk about that. Now, let me say this about the bill. It does not keep anyone from keeping victim information confidential. You can still enter into these agreements and the settlement amount will remain confidential. Okay? You can still have that in these agreements. Other terms of the settlement agreement can also be kept confidential, but the facts of the abuse cannot be kept confidential. What this does is it says this is void against public policy. For you to enter into one of these, it's unenforceable to keep the victim from talking about his abuse or her abuse.
Let me tell you, I know of a situation presently, I believe that falls into this category. The victim did commit suicide, but the individual died because of sexual abuse.
Yes.
And died. And so that's why this got my attention.
Yes, ma'am.
In terms of individuals or family that I know, that I personally know, that have signed, it sounds like a signed away pretty much their life and can't undo the damage. In addition to losing their life, they cannot undo the damage. So if that is indeed where we are and what you're saying, this is attempting to do, it's long overdue. So even though this young man committed suicide, there are other individuals who died because of being sexually abused.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
it was not caused by, and yet they've signed this disclosure, and that has caused them to be in the situation.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Thanks for sharing your story.
The chair recognizes the lady from Shelby, Representative DeVos.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'd like to thank you, Representative Faulkner, for bringing this bill. I have been following this issue for a couple of years, And I do not want there to be another child that this happens to. I want to make sure that this is never repeated. Trey Carlisle, we need to remember his name. We want to continue to give victims of sexual abuse a voice. Prohibiting these non-disclosure agreements is essential. We need to end the silence, expose these abusers, and protect children. So thank you for bringing HB 93. I'm a supporter. I appreciate your work.
Thank you, Representative Bose.
Chair thanks the lady. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Van.
Thank you for the recognition, Speaker. I guess I'm just trying to get clarity on one thing. I don't have a problem with the bill. I too, as the speaker before me, I don't know if there's a less restrictive means to get to what you all are, or Trey's law is trying to get to. I'm not a believer that this bill will stop someone from committing suicide. It's a terrible thing. I've lost friends. I've dealt with this issue a time or two. I guess for me, I want to make sure that I understand, because when you said, and the only reason I came up is when you said that NDAs are for in civil matters where there's some type of intellectual property, and that's not necessarily the case. NDAs can be crafted and curated for the purpose of keeping interactions with employers, contracts. Doesn't matter if you are a maid and you work in a household. So it varies what they can be used for. So it's not just for intellectual property, number one.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to leave here with anyone being ignorant of that fact, because we're talking about something that will go into the law. I guess my concern is, how will this impact just the average NDA? And will it have an impact, or is it only, I want to make sure, is it only, this bill is just specific to sexual abuse?
That's correct. So this, and it does not prohibit you from entering into an agreement as far as the amount of this settlement if you did enter into one involving sexual abuse. But you're absolutely correct. It is limited to sexual abuse, sexual assault, and trafficking. And it's the facts of that abuse that you are not allowed to prohibit someone from talking about in a NDA.
And I guess the only other thing that gave me pause is this. Oftentimes, I am a certified mediator with the Center for Dispute Resolution here in the state. And sometimes agreements, as you well know as an attorney, are curated during a settlement process. Those agreements are held confidential. So not all, how will we know if someone is entering into, or you're saying that even sitting at the negotiation table, it will be known in law that you cannot enter into such an agreement or anything that would restrict that degree of mutual assent in constructing whatever that document will be. So is that what you're saying? Because
That's right.
that gives me pause, because it could have eventually impact the construct of an agreement. So I guess, how do we work around that? Because a confidential settlement agreement should be a confidential settlement agreement, and those terms, whether they be in an NDA or not, that could still be because you don't have to have an NDA, and I hope you're following me on this. If I'm entering into an agreement with someone and I just simply say it, and it may have been involved in sexual abuse, well, we have an agreement that this, that, and the other, that may not be reduced to a non-disclosure agreement. So how do we work around that? And that is why I say I understand what you all are trying to do, but there are many of settlements that are handled even when it's in criminal matters or civil matters, ultimately, that are not going to be reduced to an NDA, and you very well know that. It's only rare circumstances that happens.
Yes, and Representative Van, I hear you, and I am tracking you. In the bill, it says any agreement that prohibits an individual or entity from disclosing an act of sexual abuse or facts related to an act of sexual abuse is against the public policy of this state. So it would be limited to that. But as far as what you were talking about, say we have a different type of agreement, and it's not called an NDA, which is, you're exactly correct. It says in here, any provision of a non-disclosure agreement, confidentiality agreement, employment agreement, settlement agreement, or any other type of agreement. So you're exactly right. We've made very broad in this fact that whatever you may call it, in any of those provisions, it's against the public. The part that would say in that agreement that you are unable to disclose an act of sexual abuse is unenforceable. That provision of it. It would still be enforceable as to the amount of the settlement and in whatever else is in there besides the acts of sexual abuse.
I understand what you're saying. Like I said, I'm not against the bill. As I've said, 15, 16 years now, I'm not here to convince you all of anything, and I get a chance to see as the years progress those same arguments that I've made, whether it be in the court system, ultimate rulings on cases, and I do a check off of those things that time and time again for 16 years that have come back. I think I understand what you're trying to do, and listen, I say castrate anybody who touches a child or takes advantage of a child. I've been very open about that. I have no taste in my mouth for it at all, but I do have a situation in which, as I'm looking at the construct of this, and I know you eloquently rolled off those red states that have passed this legislation. I'm fine with that. But I was just trying to get the clarity, because I think there's going to be a misstep ultimately in the construct of certain types of agreements. And I guess for me, the alarm comes when you called it specifically an NDA. I think that you should have modified, if it's just NDAs, fine. But then when you get into the subject matter of other types of agreements, then it makes it a little difficult. But you said it passed the House, the Senate, full throttle. I'm assuming this week or whenever. But again, I just wanted to get clarity on that.
Yeah. I think those are good points that you've made, and so yeah. I mean, and I know you're not. I know you're in support of the bill, but I think these are good points. I think these are good points.
Yeah, I'm absolutely in support of the bill, and I think that I don't know, did you speak with Eileen at the Center for Dispute Resolution before
I did not.
Yeah, I really wish that you would have spoken with her as the director of that division, because this is a very critical piece as it relates to sometimes just day-to-day livelihood of attorneys that are just outright mediators, and how we now construct or curate whatever that process is going to be. So that's the only thing, and again, as I said, that just to reiterate that what the speaker before me said, we need to take a serious look, because I'm not in favor of, no offense, because if someone killed themselves, I deal with that kind of stuff all the time. I've never been one on naming all of these bills, but I just wish that we would really take a hard look also at mental illness in this state. And we need to address it and call it what it is. And I don't want us to always be reactive because of one circumstance, one situation. We need to also look at the totality of the numbers of the suicides here in the state of Alabama, in particular with our young people, because that's something that we don't really address, and to make sure that more than enough funds are in place for that reason. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Thanks, lady. Question for the body now is the adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 100 ayes, 0 nays. The BIR has been adopted. Representative Faulkner.
If no further questions, I'd move for final passage.
That is questions. Final pass of HB 93. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 98 ayes, 0 nays. HB 93 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members.
Thank you, gentlemen. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 11 of the calendar, House Bill number 245 by Representative Collins, relating to Rural Hospital Investment Program.
Chairwoman Collins, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the recognition. Last year, this body passed the Rural Hospital Investment Program, and it's going really well, but there were 2 technical changes that we needed to make, and then we have actually found one additional I have an amendment for. But what the changes are, to let you know, is that it's not under the Treasurer's Office, it's under the Revenue Department. And so the Revenue's been doing the work anyway, so we put it under their department. And then also, we accidentally used the wrong code to allow the rural utilities to take part in the investment program. And so we correct those code sections. That's what this bill does, and I ask for the BIR.
You heard the explanation of the bill. The lady asked for the BIR. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Dale, Representative Klaus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There's a lot of talking going on over there. Did you say rural electrics?
No, well, the rural electrics want to participate in the rural hospital investment, and because the wrong section of the code was used, there's not a mechanism to let them participate, so we're correcting that code language.
So they'll be able to. Thank you.
Welcome.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Question for the body now is the adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 102 ayes, 0 nays. The BIR has been adopted. Chairwoman Collins.
I'd like to explain the amendment that I need to offer.
Clerk, see the amendment.
Amendment to House Bill number 245 by Representative Collins.
Here to explain your amendment, please.
I am happy to. These regard the appointments, and I think that we thought that we were changing some because those appointments have already been made. So we were just trying to correct it going forward, but we changed simply the numbers 5 and 6 to 6 and 7, and we need to change them back to 6 and 7. And that's on lines 83, 88, and 91.
Ms. Hall, you don't speak on the amendment. Chair recognizes the lady from Madison,
I think
Representative
that
Hall.
could be why it happened.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, the lady yield.
Yes.
You said you changed numbers
May I
5 and
show you?
6.
May I show you?
You're on line 75? You're on
No.
line 75?
No, I'm on line 83, 88, and 91.
Okay, so 83 said the appointing authorities for the members pursuant to subdivision. So what are we?
May I show you?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, okay. That'll help. Right, I see that.
We don't need to change
All right, I think I'm clear.
how they work.
Well, see, this doesn't show me how you're changing it back to how it was before this was done. All right, I think I'm good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure, thanks, lady. Question for the body is the adoption of the amendment. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. The amendment has been adopted.
I'd ask for final passage if there's no other questions.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Clark, Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to commend the lady for bringing this bill, but I want to ask one question, if you would listen, yield. What does this bill do for those hospitals that are already closed? Anything, nothing. And so we are trying to.
I drove by your hospital and seeing an empty parking lot was heartbreaking.
It hurts.
It actually caused me to start giving more media attention last summer to this bill before it passed last year.
So we're in a really precarious situation in Clark County, period. Well, rural health is also hurting, but this is a start for those that are struggling.
Hopefully,
But
yes.
those that have already fallen, no help. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing this to help those to keep those open.
Thank you. Sorry you lost your hospital.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Hale, Representative Travis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, with the lady here.
Yes.
I just want to come and bring support for you. Continue working on this bill. We've been now, one of my systems that I represent, Bill Medical Center, since the portal opened, we have been able to generate $500,000 up to $750, which cap. But that money would be used to create a dialysis center in Bibb County, the first of the kind. So people will begin to see the work, and I just appreciate you continuing to bring it forward and seeing the things that's being done under this bill. So thank you so
I
much.
think that's exactly what it was for, to find the ways that can help, those hospitals can help those communities.
Right.
Invest in those things that can help make them sustainable and moving forward. So a dialysis is a perfect thing to be in a local rural community.
Right, and it's allowing local business to support it and capable.
Exactly.
So we really appreciate it. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Chair thanks the gentleman. I'm going to echo, I don't want to say anything, but I want to tell you this bill has been impactful to rural Alabama. The cap is $20 million. There's already been $17 million invested into our rural hospitals across Alabama because of this bill. So thank you for that.
Thank you. That's one reason we were hoping to move this pretty quickly, is so we could let those rural utilities participate before we reach that cap. So thank you for putting it on the calendar, Mr.
Yes, ma'am. Question now is final passage of HB 245. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 104 ayes, 0 nays. HB 245 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, body.
Thank the lady. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 2 of the calendar, House Bill number 27 by Representative Brown relating to catastrophe savings accounts.
Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is House Bill 27. We passed this bill last year, and it just got out of Senate committee and didn't make it on the last day. What this does is we created, the legislature created catastrophic savings accounts for insurance policies in 2012, and all this changes is allows a homeowner to use that for their deductible or for a fortified roof. Mr. Speaker, I call for the BIR.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Shelby, Representative Mooney.
Thank you, sir. Jeff, I wanted to thank you for my house district, for Kenneth Pascal's, all of North Shelby that was hit and has been repeatedly hit by tornadoes. And honestly, the greatest cost of damage we've got is the roofs process. So this is meaningful to people in all economic stratas in our area, from people who are renting even on up, because we had homes that were devastated that people were renting and we couldn't get, and all we could do is tarp them. So, I mean, this is hugely helpful and a meaningful piece of legislation.
Thank you, Representative Mooney. I appreciate that.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Question for the body now is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock machine. Record vote. 102 ayes, 0 nays. The BIR has been adopted. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I call for final passage.
That's question. Final passage of HB 27. Clerk will unlock machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock machine. Record vote. 102 ayes, 0 nays. HB 27 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members.
Thank the gentleman. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 4 of the calendar, House Bill number 42 by Representative Treadaway relating to motor vehicles.
Representative Treadway, you're recognized.
Thank you, sir. This bill, again, was up in the Senate, died on the last day. This allows for those in possession of a towed vehicle to go ahead and enter it into the system. Currently, the system, the abandoned vehicle system portal, kicks them out after before 48 hours. There's a delay in getting them in. This simply puts them in, allows the public to find their cars quicker without a delay.
Heard the explanation of the bill. The question for the body's adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Recorded votes. 100 ayes, 0 nays. The BIR has been adopted. Mr. Chairman.
There's no other questions, sir. I move for final passage.
That is the question's final passage of HB 42. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 102 ayes, 1 nay. HB 42 has passed.
Thank you.
Thank the gentleman. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 30 of the calendar, Senate Bill number 12 by Senator Gudger relating to community development.
Representative Myrick.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the recognition.
Yes, ma'am.
My bill specifically deals with the area on Smith Lake. This was passed into law last session after receiving many questions and complaints from the constituents back home. Senator Gudger and I discussed these concerns with our constituents and between ourselves and decided that we needed to repeal this legislation. I would respectfully like to ask everyone's assistance in helping me and Senator Gudger by passing this today.
Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Van.
Okay.
For the recognition. This bill does what?
It repeals a bill that was put into place last session by Senator Gudger.
So we're doing a repeal on a bill, and this impacts what area?
It specifically deals with only the Smith Lake area in Coleman County.
Because we rarely get bills that deal with that are repealed, and especially, and this bill was passed last year?
Yes, ma'am.
So let me ask a question then. So the complaints that you all heard, did you all not hear them before the bill was passed?
I was not in office at that time. And so whenever this bill passed and the seat was vacated shortly before that, and I was running for office, it was one of the major concerns.
So this came up while you were running for office.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm confused. I think is this did Wadsworth carry this bill last year? I try to stay up on these bills, but I guess for me, I mean, you know, it's whoever the sponsor's right is to repeal. But this is the thing about this particular bill. This bill was touted last year as being almost as good as the big, beautiful, or ugly bill that passed in D.C. a few months ago. And to bring this back, I'm confused by this. And I don't know. I don't know. Did you support this before you ran for office?
No, ma'am.
Oh, you never supported this bill before you ran for office?
I never supported this bill.
Oh, okay. Because I thought, the reason I say this is because one of the things that was, and I recalled this bill, and I can't remember if I spoke on it, but it was, the way it was presented, it was stated that the realtors in the Smith Lake area, and they talked about all the different professionals that they had spoke with and all of the folks that sell all the big old houses that a lot of folks that come through this building now move into on Smith Lake. And so I just didn't know, because I know you a realtor, and I know you're one of the top sellers out there. So I'm just confused now as to that something of that gravity, large of a gravity, has happened over the course of the last year, when this bill was almost one of those bills that you had to vote for because it was going to do so much for the economic development of Smith Lake and be such a driving force and factor in that area. A few years prior to that, we had one of the senators brought an alcohol bill, and that was one of those bills. And so as of late, and that's why I came up, because I've seen so many bills lately with regards to Smith Lake, and every bill in the last few years has been the best bill for that market. And now all of a sudden, we're repealing this bill. With that, so I'm assuming that must be a lot of pressure. But the pressure has to be coming from the right people. So can you tell me what the pressure points are that makes this bill so bad now, or that bill that we passed that we had to pass?
Well, I think the constituents in our communities in District 12 have gone to Senator Gudger and expressed that more vocally, and had time to more vocally express that.
So did
to him.
you express your concern about it before you became in the House?
I did.
So you didn't support, you never supported this development?
No, ma'am.
So you weren't one of those realtors?
No, ma'am.
Okay, because I know one of the things that we promote is economic development, and I'm always cautious because we don't get too many repeals of bills. And I do know, again, this bill was touted as going to be one of those bills that was going to be life-changing for that entire Smith Lake area, no differently than the alcohol bill that came. And I can't recall if we were creating a entertainment district for that area or not, but I do know that has been a bill that has been to us, come before us, because I felt awkward out the chute for the last few years that we've been dealing with Smith Lake. And so I have the utmost of respect for the senator. I've sponsored bills along with him. He's helped me out of a lot of different situations here. But I am concerned that we are bringing this, and all due respect to him, but I also wanted to make sure, because as you are coming in here, and I know you have a lot of aspiration.
Don't we all?
Yeah, somebody told me you gonna be the next Speaker of the House, the first woman Speaker of the House. So I don't know. I want to make sure.
I hadn't heard that, so.
Well, you said you told somebody that, but at the end of the day, like I said, there's a lot of people come down here with a lot of ambitions, and so I just want to make sure that this is not just an ambitious bill. I know we're in an electoral cycle. I'm just making sure, but also I'm concerned because we're bringing a bill. Again, we've had a series of these bills for Smith Lake, and now we're here for repeal. And so I checked it out, and that area is growing. And the bill that was passed, what you say, Danny Garrett? What were you saying? I thought you said something. Oh, I ain't see your lips move. Oh, you did. I thought you said something in her ear. I need to put my other glasses on. But no, I just want to make sure, and I'm not, no disrespect to you. This is your first bill, and I know it's going to pass, but I just want to make sure that when we are told that these are the best bills for these areas and we put our necks on the line, that it is so. And to bring back this bill with all of the millions of dollars, and that's all I heard was millions of dollars, and it's going to grow this area, that this is the best thing could happen to Smith Lake, and it's going to spur more growth. It's going to be this, it's going to be that, and all of the realtors, because I asked the question. And so they were like, all of the realtors, all of these folks were in support. So I just want to make sure that we're not, when we bring these kind of bills, and I know with you coming here and as aggressive as you are, you're going to bring bills, of course, that we don't have to come back and repeal just because you would have already taken the consideration of the voters at hand. And so I don't know if this is going to become an issue, but like I said, this was a real big bill last year, a real big one. And now it's being reduced to nothing. And you're okay with that?
I am.
Okay. Well, all right, Mr. Speaker, I appreciate it. The lady just said that she's okay with reducing the bill to zero growth and zeroing it out because of the complaints of her constituents. So you live on Smith Lake?
I do live on Smith Lake.
Okay. All right, then. Well, all right. I sure do appreciate you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Sure, thanks, lady. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Clark, Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the recognition. Will you yield for a question? What has gone wrong with the districts that you want to repeal this act?
For one, the constituents spoke loud and clear that this was not something they want in their district. And so that is the reason that Senator Gudger and I sat down and had great conversation and discussions about it to repeal it.
The constituents don't want alcohol.
I'm sorry?
Did you say that they don't want it, they don't want the district, the wet district in their municipality?
Well, you're exactly right. That's exactly what I'm saying. They don't want it.
So are they in opposition that think opposite of what you thinking or what they think? I'm just asking, we went through a lot trying to make these districts so people, economic development was one thing. My county is a dry county, but the municipalities in those counties are wet. They asked for that. Now, because it has brought revenue, we had a lot of opposition from the pastors. It's like it is with other issues when it comes to moral issues. But the people made a decision that that's what they wanted. And so I have to go along with it, but I'm just asking what had gone wrong that you wanted to reject it. And it's just the people that decided they didn't want it anymore. Now, was there anything that happened that's the reason why they decided that?
I don't think the people decided they didn't want it anymore. They didn't want it to begin with.
Oh, they didn't want it in the beginning?
Correct.
So that was forced on them, that's what you're saying?
Maybe that's what they feel like. But it was their voice that we heard.
I hear
and
what you're
that's
saying.
why we're repealing it.
I mean, everybody has their right to make their decision. That's why we have a democracy. It's the voices of the people. So I'm just, that's not the question. That's what had happened, that it was a change of heart in the people. But they never was forward anyway.
No.
All right, thank you so much.
Sure, thanks, gentleman. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Jefferson, Representative Carnes.
Good to see you here.
Good to see you, sir.
Want to come and thank you for bringing this bill. I've watched the evolution of this project up there, and I know that there were some great things about it, and I know there's some things that needed some work on. And so this is a solution to a problem in your district, and I appreciate you coming and handling that very much.
Thank you so much.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Blunt, Representative Standridge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I live in a county that's neighboring to your county, and I kind of kept up with what was going on with this situation. It looks like to me a classic case of where the representative and the senator listened to the people and what they wanted in that area, and that's what you're trying to do, right?
You're exactly right.
Repeal it. So I'm going to support your bill. So thank you for bringing it.
Thank you, sir.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Question for the body is the adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the bill. Record the votes. 91 ayes, 1 nay. BR has been adopted. Representative Myrick.
I didn't vote for final passage.
Chair recognizes the lady from Madison, Representative Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With Lady Yield. So I am checking to make sure I'm clear. Was this an example? I heard one of the speakers just before me talked about or mentioned the fact this was an opportunity where the community made a decision and both you and the senator are working to correct that decision. I guess my question was there a lack of communication prior to this becoming a bill that was voted on? In my area, in our area, generally there's some discussion. We get information from the mayor, we get information from the city council members. And then if it's something that we think is real serious, my colleague and I, we will have a town hall meeting to get input. Was that a process that was used prior to the voting of or having that bill introduced last year? Do you know?
I don't think so, but I wasn't in office at the time.
Right.
So as I was campaigning and the voices of the people kept saying that they wanted this to be repealed.
Oh, okay.
And Senator Gudger and I had great conversations, extensive conversations, and made a decision to repeal this.
So it was a campaign issue.
It was.
It became, well, let me say it appears that it became a campaign issue.
It became a campaign issue, but it was also passed right on the beginning of that campaign series.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part. It was
Bill
what?
passed right at the beginning of the campaign.
I see.
The election cycle.
Okay,
the special
so-
election.
Okay, and so the effective date for this was to start this process was when? What was the effective date for the bill that we're repealing?
I think it was around August the 1st.
Okay, and so here we are. The concerns that you heard, could you elaborate on those for me? What were they like? The concerns that you had relative to this bill?
Most of it was they just didn't want that large of a development in the community or the annexation of the community into the city limits of Coleman.
And so when you say a large development, was that a large development of housing coming in, or was it housing and businesses? Was it
The
a
overall
combination of
resort.
them?
The overall resort.
Was it the fact that it was also becoming a in addition to the housing, was it the businesses as well that was a concern?
Yes, it was the overall project.
All right, thank you. It just sounded like to me that it was a not in my backyard type situation. Second thoughts. Thank you.
The chair thanks the lady. The chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative, are you repealing the development process for this area that you all annexed? Or are you, in this bill, you're going to de-annex that property that you annexed for development?
We are repealing the Senate bill.
No, you got to tell me what you're talking about. That doesn't tell me much. I'm asking you in here because it say this bill would repeal Act 2025-294, which had authorized the annexation of a certain type of community development district by a wet municipality in the county where the district is situated. So what exactly are you repealing? The development process?
The annexation.
The annexation. So you don't, and I'm gonna tell you this. Last year when that bill came up, I said the same thing because I used to be on the Industrial Water Board for Birmingham. And Smith Lake is one of our main, especially summertime sources of water, because that water flows into Jefferson County by gravitational force, and it doesn't take us much to manage that water, and plus it's a natural stream. And I fought against it because I said the more development you do along Smith Lake, the more chances you will run of people polluting that water and making it an unsafe water source for the people that the Birmingham Water Board now serve for clean water. And it seemed as though that argument didn't carry weight. So now you're here to say we don't want to do that. So how did you feel last year?
I didn't support the bill.
You didn't support the bill?
I did not support the bill.
But now that you're a representative, you got a voice and you can fight for the other people. Can you tell me what percentage of the people that's involved in this annexation want this repeal?
I don't know what percent.
So, I do have a problem when we come up with bills and it's just one or two people that's unsatisfied versus the people who were involved in this and their properties were involved in this annexation for growth. I think they talked about on last year, but now they're not don't want that level of growth along Smith Lake, which was we argued it as long as we could last year because I didn't think that was good for development, but in the first place. But I would be discouraged if the people who live in the area have not been talked to and who are not aware of this bill that's repealing the de-annexation. And I'd wonder, did you have any types of town hall meetings to let these people know this process was going to be put in place?
We did talk to have a town hall meeting, and the people were very much in favor of repealing this bill.
How many people do you believe attended that town hall meeting?
I would not even begin to guess.
2, 3, 4, 5. Because see, I'm just wondering if the number of people that was involved with it, because I did not think it was a good idea last year, but I do have a problem that when we put on the table some things for even if I'm carrying a bill, if there's something else I need to look at and didn't think of it and you brought it to my attention, I ought to say, well, okay, let me go and check it out before we send this process through so that we don't have to come back and realize that a decision we made was not a good decision and we have to repeal it. Because in my opinion, that doesn't look good on this body. And I'm sure it got a lot of votes. We got a lot of votes because we really a lot of us don't pay attention to what we're doing. And they think that some of us come to the microphone just to hear our heads rattling. But we have true concern. I know that was one bill I had a lot of concern about. I didn't think it was a good idea, but I do on the other side. It went through anyway. And I just want to make sure that those citizens have been appropriately contacted and that those citizens, the majority of those, because it's always the majority rule, that the majority of those citizens are in agreement with this de-annexation of that area. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the lady. Chair recognizes the lady from Mobile, Representative Drummond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When the young lady yield, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
And welcome to the well.
Thank you.
I want you to tell me a little bit, because I was really, when this bill passed last year, and I'm from a larger, more urban city, but anytime there's a bill that deals with economic development, I'm sort of curious as to why it's being repealed. And I'm sorry, I was out of the chamber, so I didn't get an opportunity. So if you've already said so, I'm sorry to ask you to repeat it for me.
Just the voice of the people that spoke.
The what now?
The voice of the people that spoke to Senator Gudger and myself and asked for it to not happen and not go forward.
But tell me why. That's what I'm looking at. Everything we do down here is because of the voice of the people. None of that. Every time I'm hoping that we don't do anything just for our individual agendas, but for what the people want.
Well,
So what was the voice of the people? Why did they not want this bill to be enacted?
They didn't like the annexation into the city of Coleman, and they just didn't want it.
But this was a statewide bill, correct? So
No,
it would affect other cities besides those
this
that.
particular only deals with Smith Lake and Coleman County.
Okay. But why wouldn't they want it to? Because it deals with economic development. I thought I saw where it would have created jobs for that community, and it would have also created a better character, that particular development, correct?
That was the perception, I think, of some people who wanted the bill to pass and to go forward, but not of the constituents.
But somebody had to have wanted the bill passed. That's what I'm trying to get. The other side, what is the other side? Why did they want it passed last year?
Economic growth, the
So they don't want economic growth now?
I think everybody wants economic growth.
Well,
But
I
they don't
do in
wanna go
my
against
in
the
my county.
constituents in their districts.
Was this a large group of people, or are we trying to satisfy an agenda of one individual? We don't usually repeal laws. And I think you can see by everybody coming down is that this is something that is quite unusual.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to find the why.
The why?
Yeah, other than the voice of the people. But what was that voice? What was their objection? And why did the ones who perhaps wanted it, why did they want it? And why these folks don't want it?
The folks that I talked to repeatedly throughout the summer during my special election didn't want to be annexed into the city of Coleman, and they just didn't want the annexation.
I guess I come out of municipal government with our city in Mobile, and annexation is some things that I'm a proponent of, and we've done quite a bit of it. So when I hear those kinds of things, those are the kinds of things that stifle not only economic development, but also the growth of a city. And I'm not getting it from you as to why, other than they didn't want. I mean, there are a lot of things that I don't want even in this body, but I usually stand and reason, not for myself, but with those who I serve.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to find out where you're going with this. Why is it being repealed? Why they didn't want it? Why they didn't want the annexation? Are they just against annexation?
Just against it, yes.
Period?
Period.
So they don't want to see Coleman grow?
This particular area, they do not want annexed into the city of Coleman.
So are these residents or just businesses?
Residents. It's a very rural part of Coleman County.
Is there a reason they don't want to come into Coleman?
They just don't want it. They don't want to be a part of the city.
Is it because of fire or police or what? I mean, I'm just trying to understand. That's what I'm trying to get at is the why.
The why is they don't want it. It's rural area, farmland, hunting land. They don't want the development. They don't want the annexation. So they opposed it strongly. And
What are the
Senator
people
Gudger
in
and I
Coleman,
heard
what are the
them.
people in Coleman saying?
A lot of the city people who live inside the city limits, they didn't want it either.
Well, how did it get passed if nobody wanted it? I don't understand that.
I wasn't in office at the time, so I didn't.
I'm sorry, I
I said I
couldn't-
wasn't in office at the time that the bill was passed.
But you were a part of that community if you're in office now, right? So I'm sure you know about this issue prior to. So will this be a hindrance to the city of Coleman?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Why? I still don't understand why we're repealing it, and then now I can't understand why it was passed.
Well, I wasn't here when it was passed, and I'm just telling you that Senator Gudger and I have listened to the voices of the people who want it repealed, and that's what we're here to do.
So are there any proponents to this bill?
I've had no one come to me for wanting it.
Who is the developer of the property that I read an article
I don't
online.
remember the name of that developer.
It was near Smith Lake.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know who the developer is?
I don't remember the name of the development. I sure don't.
So you don't think that area should be developed at all?
I'm not opposed to it being developed. That people can do, if they own their own land, they can do what they want to with it. But the annexation into the city limit was something that the people that voted me into office were against. And that's why I'm here today.
Is that a benefit to economic development in Coleman?
I guess that's probably a person's opinion because it's not even a development yet.
It's not even economic development? No?
It's not been developed yet.
Okay, but I'm talking about economic development because we all look for areas of widespread of land, especially when we have folks that are going to bring industry in for jobs. That's one of the things that a city or a county or even a rural area, we all thrive off of that. Because without economic development, a city can't grow, people won't have jobs, won't have livelihoods, won't have good school, won't have good police, won't have good fire. So none of that came into play. I've never seen a law repealed, especially one that is as new as this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just trying to get an understanding.
Well, I've got.
Voice of the people. We don't know why, but the voice of the people.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. Chair recognizes the lady from Macon, Representative Warren.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, young lady Hill. You know, I've been around here a long time, and I don't hear too often that we made a mistake in what we did. And when you see that something is being repealed that we passed on last year, it's really confusing to me because I don't know enough of Alabama's geography to really know where I am and what's going on here. But the part that it says by a wet municipality. Now, explain what that all has to do with this bill, the wet municipality. What's this is all about?
So the city of Coleman is wet, but the county is not.
Oh, the county is dry and the city is wet. So everybody that's drinking all that liquor in the county coming to Coleman to drinking.
I don't know.
Because I mean, I really don't. And I think before they did the annexation, didn't they meet with the community to get the consensus of the community? that this is what's going to happen? You're telling me that they did an annexation bill and the community was never informed as that they were going to be annexed?
I don't know what form of information they gave to the community at that time, but I can tell you that it was spoken to me very loud and clear throughout the summer of my special election that my constituents did not want it in District 12.
Okay, where do you live, in Coleman or in the area that's being annexed?
I live in Coleman County, and this area is in my district.
Okay, it's in your district.
Yeah, the city of Coleman and this area is in my district.
Okay, because it's so out of the norm that something like this would happen. And I think all my colleagues feel bad that they're coming back telling us we did something wrong. When we got all the evidence, and I'm pretty sure during the time that we were doing this, the question was asked if this is what the people wanted, and they said yes. And now you're saying after you're elected, this only came up after you were elected.
I don't know what kind of information that was put out there before I was elected. So I wasn't involved in the bill process in 2025.
Well, I think I heard you say something about that the area that was annexed was rural. What's the reasoning now that they're giving for not wanting to be in this annexation?
They just don't want to be annexed into the city limits of Coleman.
That's really hard for me to accept. And it's because I can't believe it got this far, and now they decided they don't want it. What is the city council in Coleman saying? In Coleman, what are they saying about it? In the city, what's the city is? What's the city we're talking about?
The constituents in the city were very much for repealing
What city are we talking about here?
Coleman.
The city of Coleman.
Limits. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are the officials in Coleman saying about this?
Most of them are for repealing it.
Excuse me?
Most of them that I've talked to are for repealing it.
What's the population of the area that's being annexed into Coleman?
Do you mean like just
the area that they're trying to annex? What's the population? What size is this? A big population of people? A small number of people?
I don't have a number for that. There's 47,000 people in my district, and that's about all I can tell you.
This really sounds like it can be an issue. It really does. Because you got one doing it and it was done, and now everybody's coming back and don't want to do it. Is anybody getting along with anybody in this situation?
Oh, absolutely. Senator Gudger and I had a great conversation about it, and we're going to respect the wishes and the voices of our constituents.
Okay, so Senator Gudger is on board with getting this taken, because I saw his name was on there, but then I didn't know whether you were bringing it, whether he was bringing it or not. But like I said, it's just confusing, and it's something that we don't hear or deal with in this body to come back and say we made a mistake, because we don't like to see nobody telling us we're making no mistakes in this body. Yeah. So that it's really confusing, and like I said, was it for what was the reasoning that they did the annexation? Based on what? What justified the annexation?
I wasn't part of this.
But you're living there. You're one of the citizens, right?
I am.
You weren't in any of the discussions. You're political now, and you weren't in the discussion when they did this?
I was not asked for any input on this other than just what I offered. So it is a dry county being annexed into a wet city so that alcohol could be sold in that development and resort once it was developed.
It's a resort area that we're talking about now.
But it's not there now. It's not even began to be developed.
Okay. Like I said, it's just kind of baffling to me that it would get to this point. that you would have to be elected to come back to get this corrected.
Well, there was nobody in my seat at the time. It was vacant.
Okay. Who did you replace?
Corey Harbison.
Well, that's just my feeling about it, and it's just it makes us look bad as a body.
I respect your opinion.
You know, this really makes us look bad to the community. I don't know what we're looking like to the city of Coleman, but it makes us look bad as a governing body that we did what we thought was right, and now we're coming back and they're telling us no, we don't want it. You know, that's kind of immaturish to me a little bit too. It doesn't really assume full responsibility for the decisions that were made by this community when it was made. So with all that said, good luck.
Chair thanks the lady. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Van.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I won't take but a second. Listen, I've just listened to the arguments, and I did say one thing to one of your colleagues, and as I was listening, because every question pretty much that was asked, you really couldn't produce an answer or response. And I will say, the speaker, I will give him credit for this, that I do appreciate about him and the group of folks that came in this last quadrennium. Everybody in this freshman class has been able to do one thing that I've noticed that's almost a master class when they're presenting their bills. They have a book. And they can respond to every question. Every question. And the reason I stand is because I'm harder on them than anybody. And if I give them their props, they are going to be able to answer that question that I asked them. I can't say that about the speaker before. Can't say that anything about the quadrennium before. But this quadrennium, they have been able to answer, the Republicans have been pretty much able to respond and answer every question. So with that being said, I've asked a couple of questions and you could not give the response, but I will just simply say to you, because this was such a big bill last year that we had to vote on, and we're not we don't see too many repeals. So just to get up and say that a bill that you want it repealed, especially a bill of this magnitude, you need to be prepared. And when people try to offer you help in preparation, you take that help, because it's not always easy standing up here. But the thing about it is, when you say that Coleman, and I'm not going to not vote on the bill again, Gudger has been very good to me since I've been here in many regards, but it just disturbs me when you say an entire county, and that's not representative of the entire county. It's representative of a small piece. And I think that's what my colleagues have been coming up here saying and trying to get down to the bottom, because they did put their necks on the line. And either some of them may abut some of these areas or what have you. And so it's just always good to know what radius, if it's a portion of the people. Listen, in my mind, I leave here thinking, and this is why I also came back, that the people in Smith Lake doesn't think Coleman is good enough. That's the only way you can solve them. They don't want to be a part of Coleman County, and that's fine. Smith Lake is an exclusive area. It is being built up for that purpose. I understand that. You're in the business of that kind. You've been a $1 million producer. Congratulations to you. Not everybody can do that. I was wondering why you always come down here so sharp with these nice outfits on. Now I know. I do my research too. Nothing wrong with that. Coming in here looking good. Nothing wrong with a good realtor job. Didn't we just celebrate Realtor Day 2 days ago? But with that being said, the bill will move forward. But I just wanted to make those things to note, and I did it publicly only because I was listening to a report at the end of last year, and in that report, it reported they were doing the year end of all the big bills, and not one Democratic bill was rolled out. I said, now I know the Democrats had some good bills this year, and so I take these opportunities when I can, because I don't get much down here. The speaker last year I did well. I think the speaker only gavelled me down one time last year. I usually get 1 or 2, maybe 3. Now I get prepared, and I know when he give me that mean eye, or he dip his glasses, and he'll wait a minute, and I'll look up at him, and I know it's coming, but I'm used to it now. And then he won't answer my phone calls for a year. I can't get him on the phone, and then one day I send him a message. I say, hey, Mr. Speaker, have you ever watched The Godfather? So he told me no. I'm hoping he's going to watch the series by now. Hopefully he will during the off season. do it. Oh, Lord. But with that being, I told you, I know him. I can feel him sometimes. Oh, Jesus. But anyway, with that being said, the bill will pass. But I did want to know the area, the scope of the area that was in question. And that's just more of for my public consumption. But when you come back up here to this microphone, you be prepared and you know your bill. This your first bill out the chute. You're getting it passed really because Gudger's name on it too. But when it comes under your name, you have your binder like all these other young ladies right here. And Mr. Speaker gonna make sure you have one, because he has made sure that every one of his members first time out the chute is knowledgeable about their bill. And I appreciate him this quadrennium for that. They trying to take me out of here, but I want them to know I ain't going nowhere. I'll be back after May 19th. Would that be to the ABCs, the BCAs, the KGBs, and then anybody else in the room, and all of the alphabets? I appreciate you. Thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. Question for the body is final passage of SB 12. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Recorded votes, 98 ayes, 0 nays. SB 12 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Congratulations on your first bill. I'd like to recognize some guests in the gallery. Carrie Wilder of Alex City, the mom of Paige of Granger Wilder, is here with us today. They're our guest of Representative Ed Oliver. Let's give them a big hand. Thank you for being with us today. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 5 of the calendar, House Bill number 38 with substitute by Representative Brown relating to the state's waters.
Chairman Brown, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have House Bill 38. We passed this last year and passed in the Senate committee, just didn't get on the floor on the last day. And what this does, it creates a seagrass task force for the replenishment of seagrass in Alabama waters, so Mobile Bay, the Mississippi Sound, Oyster Bay, and Weeks Bay. And this will create a task force to develop a 10-year plan. We've had over 90% of our seagrass that have been wiped out due to thin layer displacement and dredging and other detrimental practices.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Mr. Speaker, I call for the BR.
Passage of the BR. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Recorded vote. 101 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I call for final passage.
I'm seeing you got
I will have a sub, too.
Yeah.
And
Can you explain your sub, please?
yes, sir. I'm not sure why I made it as a sub, but all it really does is change really one word. Instead of a seagrass task force, it's a seagrass and sea oats restoration plan, to develop a seagrass and sea oats. And sea oats grow on the sand dunes, so that's good for our beaches. So, Mr. Speaker, I call for pass this up.
That's questions. Passage of the sub. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine and record the votes. 103 ayes, 0 nays. Sub has been adopted. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, I call for final passage.
That is questions. Final passage is substituted. Clerk will lock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 102 ayes, 0 nays. HB 38 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members.
I feel like I've been on the coast a lot this week. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 11 of the calendar, House Bill number 138 by Representative Pascal relating to school bus drivers.
Representative Pascal, you're recognized.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the recognition. Members, HB 138 is a bill to address the bus drivers shortage that we have throughout the state of Alabama. This will allow our state retirees to come back as full-time bus drivers and continue to draw their retirement. Put a couple of safeguards in place, and it has a sunset of 2030 that give us opportunity to come back, do an assessment and a reevaluation. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I'll call for the hour.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Jefferson, Representative Garrett.
Thank you, Representative Pascal, for bringing this bill. Bus driver shortages is a critical issue all across the state. Transportation is a big issue, and this is a great solution for that. I had discussions with RSA officials when you brought the bill because there were some retirement limitations and whatnot, and they support this bill as well. So I appreciate you doing that. I think this will be a great step forward.
Thank you so much.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Clark, Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Hask, you're doing something very favorable today.
Thank you.
Yes, helping those people who have served their communities by driving school buses, taking children to school every day. What is the cost of this?
What is the cost?
Yeah, what it's going to cost? I mean, they retired already, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to let them come back as a full employee, making that same salary, or if we paid them more, they probably won't retire, but they're there for the benefits anyway. But how much is this going to cost? What's the physical note on this? I'm not against your bill. I'm for it because I think it's a great gesture. Because I used to drive a school bus.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for your service to, for our kids.
Oh yeah, a lot of things. I used to cut grass too.
Okay, that's good.
So there's a lot of things that we can do, but bringing those persons back, experienced school bus drivers have without accident, not drinking on the job, carrying their children back and forth safely to their destinations. Not having too many problems with parents. Said that they want to jump on the bus and snatch you off sometimes when you want to discipline their kid for misbehaving on the bus. Now, the question was, what's the physical note? How much is this going to cost?
There is no
cost?
There's no cost, additional cost to the state. This will allow your local school districts to hire the bus drivers. So the same thing now is this allow the local.
Locals don't pay no school bus driver that come from the state.
Okay. Well, this allow your local school districts to hire your
the rehire
drivers.
Yeah.
And as far as the physical note on HB 138, there's no additional cost as far as state and local. So I pull up, as you look at the fiscal note for this bill, you'll see it states there's no additional cost for state because we need bus drivers already, so it's already included in the calculation.
I guess the reason why it wouldn't be because you'd be paying someone else to do the driving anyway, but it look like there should be some kind of cost.
Well,
let me say this. Local education entities depend on state funding. Like teachers get paid by the state, they don't get paid by the local. all professional, paraprofessionals, and bus drivers, cooks, and all. Yeah, most of that come from the state. And so it would be nice if our local educators could pay their local folks for bus and other paraprofessional service for our education. It would be, but they can't afford it. So I just asked if no additional cost. It's a great thing because we need short of teachers as well as bus drivers. And it is a profession. The people don't realize that bus driving is a profession in the state of Alabama. To me, it is, because there's a lot of people do. They 4 hours of maybe a day, 2 hours taking kids, bringing them back that afternoon. And so they usually have another job they go to in between that time. But that is a great thing because we want to keep professionals on the job, doing their job, safely transporting our children, because they are not products, they are children. They are human beings. I have to tell that to some people. Well, they ain't taking a product from, that's not a product. That's our children. Mm-hmm. And we want the best for our children.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Right, thank you.
Chair recognizes the gentleman with Meadowall, Representative Gidley.
For Senator Pascal, I just want to take a moment. I too drove a school bus for Etowah County for some 10 years as both a permanent and relief driver. It's a tremendous service, a tremendous responsibility. People, unless you've been on it, don't understand the responsibility those people have that transport between 60 to 70% of our students to school every single day. So anything we can do, and there is a tremendous shortage, school bus drivers, many are having to double up on a lot of things. So anything we can do that help that pool to make sure that is provided for is not only a tremendous service to our students, but it's also a service to those who do serve in that capacity. And it is a service. It's not a major income. The income is not that massive, but the service is tremendous. So I applaud you for bringing this. Anything we can do to help them, it's always been near and dear to my heart since I served in that seat for about 10 years. So thank you, Representative Pascal, and appreciate your bill.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the lady from Macon, Reverend Warren, be the fourth person to speak on the BR.
Thank you, was Gentleman Yield.
Yes, ma'am.
I think I'm a little confused with this bill. What is the current law for retirees when they retire coming back to work? I thought that after you're out for a year or something like that, you can come back, and we, if I can remember, we set a salary as to the max salary a person. Oh.
You lost track there.
So I was just confused. Why are we doing this? If it's already a procedure, what are we changing that's already in existence?
Okay, and I appreciate your question. The current law, a state retiree can come back as a full-time employee, but when you do that with the current law, your retirement stops. So my bill will allow retirees to come back as a full-time bus driver and continue to draw your state retirement. So that's.
But you can still make up to what, $52,000 a year?
I think it's 32. There's a bill to increase it to 52, but right now I think that
I thought we did the one to go up to 52. I thought we.
That was for RSOs.
Huh?
That's for our RSOs. We carved out an exception for our RSOs. I think it's a couple of years ago, maybe might have been last year. But
so you're saying now that a bus driver isn't eligible for that? I mean, does a bus driver make over $52,000 a year?
Okay, on line 92 of the bill, we carved out exceptions for a correction officer with the Department of Corrections or a police officer at any state college or university pursuant section 16-22-1 without suspension of his or her retirement allowance, provided that the compensation earned does not exceed $52,000.
Yeah, so
that's-
wouldn't they qualify for that?
No, bus drivers is not included in that. So that's why I'm coming back with this bill to include bus drivers so they can come back as full-time bus drivers without suspending their retirement. So that's what this bill is doing.
Are there any other occupations other than the bus drivers that they're excluded from doing the 52?
Well, yes, there's a bill in the Senate. I don't know if it's making it down on the floor. It's going to incorporate other occupations, but my bill is strictly dealing with the bus driver shortage. And your answer to your question, what is the current law? The current law do allow state retirees to come back as a full-time bus driver, but the key to that is your retirement would stop. So my bill it will allow retirees to come back as a full-time bus driver, and you continue to draw your retirement. So
But it only stops after it reaches that 52. So and they're not making 52.
Well, no, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works. 'Cause that's how they told me that it was going to work with me. You know, I could make up. I was even told you can make up to this, and then you have to get off of retirement. But you can make up to this before you get off. And I know somebody who did it just like that because he told me how to do it.
Well, my understanding is it's a combination of the two. You can become a full-time bus driver. You have a cap. So my bill is not going to change the cap. You're just going to allow the bus driver. It's going to allow that state retiree to come back as a full-time bus driver, continue draw your retirement, and not exceed the cap. Okay, so sound like what you is saying. Your understanding is the current law will allow you to come back as a full-time bus driver, continue to draw your retirement. That is not the case. That's not.
It is. I'm telling you, I can tell you some people who've done it. They advised me how to do it. They said, don't get off retirement until you make the max. When you get to the max, then you get off retirement.
Okay. Now, what we have in majority of the counties and districts throughout our state, what I'm saying, and after talking with RSA and state school board superintendents, we have a lot of retirees. They're driving as part-time. And so that's the problem. We're trying to fill that gap. As part-time, it's almost like a substitute teacher. You cannot have a dedicated route. And you work 3 weeks, and then you have to have a break, and then you come back. So this bill is going to allow you not only to become part-time, we want you to become full-time, have a dedicated route, and also we want you to continue.
So you're gonna get your retirement, full retirement, and the full salary.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
So I think it's just I'm in full support of what you're trying to do,
Right.
but I'm just making sure that it's not confusing people as to what's applicable to them in their retirement. That's the part that got me. I said, now they can do this, so why are we doing this?
Well, I think the miscommunication here is, if I hear you correctly, you're saying currently under current law, you can be a state retiree, and as of today, you can come back as a full-time bus driver and continue to draw your retirement. That is not the case.
You can draw it up to that amount.
No, well, if you become a full-time bus driver, regardless of the amount, your retirement would stop. You cannot do both. My bill will allow you to achieve both, become a full-time bus driver and continue to draw your state retirement. That's what makes this bill such a good bill, because it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good, but I was just, and see, I'm hoping that by doing this bill, you don't alert everybody else out there who's retired and feels who want to come back that they're going to be able to do this.
Well,
because the system is a system,
Right.
and everybody is supposed to fall under that system that's retired.
Yeah.
And if you're making this exception, I'm just hoping that nobody else in a profession will come and try to make that exception, because if not, we don't need to have the bill to say, you can't do this, you can't do it. If we're going to let everybody retire and then come back and become full-time, get the retirement and do this.
we put a couple of backstops or guidelines to make sure that we move this in a safe and a conservative manner. For example, we placed a sunset of 2030, that we would come back and do assessment. Is it working?
2030.
2030.
Okay.
But we also put a buffer in there. This applies only if you have this only after 12 months. But however, even with that 12 months window, we still have a gap today. So to address that gap today, we placed a grandfather clause in the bill, which says if you retired on or before the 1st of January 2026, that 12 months doesn't apply. So we address the gap today, but at the same time, we want to make sure we don't incentivize people to start working today and come back immediately, so we put a 12-month window, moving forward. So I worked with RSA for about 3 months, and so we really try to look at everything, every angle. So we think it's a good bill that will address the issue with school bus shortages, and also do it in a safe manner that will get the kids to the schools, where our school system, they can dedicate routes.
See, I have no problem with that. I'm just wanting to make sure that it's not going to be confusing to other retirees that's out there. And if they feel as though if the bus drivers can do it, why can't I do it? So that's all. I'm just trying to make sure to see if what you're saying is only for the bus drivers.
Right, and I have received several calls from teachers they currently teach, and they currently a full-time bus driver, and this bill doesn't really apply to them because we placed that 12-month, that 1-year window, and they're asking for me to remove that, and I said, no, that's the purpose of that. We don't want to incentivize, fill the shortage of bus drivers and then create a shortage of our teachers. We do not want that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair thanks, lady. Question for the body now is the adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Reverend Pascal.
Mr. Speaker, if there's no further questions, I call for final passage.
Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Reverend Van.
Pascal.
Yes, ma'am.
This is a good bill. Really good bill. You're on a roll. Don't mess it up. Now let me ask one question or two. How you doing, first of all?
Well, I'm just doing great. Being here in the State House with my other colleagues is doing really great.
Oh, okay. I just thought you were just gonna say I'm doing fine.
No, I'm doing great.
Okay, good. Yeah. So it makes you feel great when you're in here with your colleagues.
Well, yes, that includes you,
Thank you. Finally, I got one person to say that. Finally, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good stuff. At least I got one witness.
Well, I think I heard him say that before.
Well, I've been doing Treddy a long time. 30-some years. When he had hair and was all in the news every day and fighting me on everything. All things union. But I wanted to ask a question with regards to this. So anyone who's retired, that's a bus driver, can come back. What if they were in another field and is now becoming a bus driver? Do they have to have already been a bus driver?
Well, no, it's any state retiree.
So it's for any state retiree who chooses, that's what I wanted the clarity on, that chooses to come back as a bus driver in that pool. Mm-hmm. They can, and this will not impact their retirement?
Correct.
Can they buy back into the retirement system and start paying back in it?
Well, no, that was the purpose of your retirement stopping, because you paying back into the system. So try to create a balance. The trade-off was you continue to draw your retirement and you can become a full-time bus driver, receive pay from that, and even qualify for benefits. But the trade-off is you didn't want to, in order to pay back in, you have to stop your retirement. So,
Okay.
So that's the trade-off.
And this bill becomes effective when?
October the 1st, 2026.
October the 1st. Okay, so this year. Okay, October the 1st. Okay, after the fiscal year. Okay, yeah, this is a good bill. Did you speak with anyone in education about it, or you just took it on yourself?
Well, no, this came from our education system, or from the teachers, the superintendents, or principals, or retirees that reached out. So this is just a comprehensive.
So it originated with you, and then you spoke with all of them, or they called you as you sponsored the bill in?
No, it originated from a constituent that's a state retiree, and he's a part-time bus driver. But he's saying, "Listen, I'm available to do it full time, but I'm unable because of the law." So that's what triggered the research, and then the question came up: how many other state retirees do we have that's in that same situation that want to come back as a full-time bus driver? And then, do we really have a shortage or need for full-time bus drivers? So the answer was yes on both of those.
So how many do you think that with this bill, once we pass, did you do any type of quantitative analysis on what we thought we may be able to bring back into the pool?
Well, I'm waiting to get that answer back from our state school board superintendent. I reached out to them.
Okay.
And they did give me a list. I know we have over 10,000 routes each day, 10,744 routes. And my next question to them was, so we have a good measuring tool in 2030. What's the hard numbers for us, the shortage we have per district? So I don't have that at the moment.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. This is a good bill. But the speaker is on the roll this year. Had all these good bills coming up. Can't wait for all four of mine to come up. Hope I can get all of them out this year.
Well, are they good bills?
Every bill I ever bring is a good bill.
Okay.
I get caught up in, listen, I was looking at my phone and I was thinking, I said, well, no, I pretty much, if it's something I really, really, really want to get out, I've only had one bill in 16 years that I really wanted, that should have just gotten out. But you know how things go around here sometimes. You get in these political battles, so you know.
Well, I think Treadway on the rules committee, so he can pick your bill.
I don't know if I've ever asked Treadway on rules. I've never asked Treadway to pick a bill. I don't, listen, I deal with the hand that I'm dealt. I have a friend that always say, life is a game of poker. Happiness is the pot. Play the hand. I've been going through this phone as of the last few months, looking at all of these good governmental affairs messages from folks that sent me over the years. And thank you, Underlin. You're so great. Will you come to my event? Will you just support us? Will you not vote against this bill? If you vote, will you abstain? All the different congratulatory messages. So I just look at this stuff down. I'm starting to look at a lot of this stuff down here differently. So if I get the bills out, I get it. You have those special interests, then they conspire and work with others against you. So you just do all that. So I'm built for it. So I don't think I've just ever asked anybody for too much of a support since I've been here, and I've done pretty good. 75-80% of the vote. So I think I'll be good. But with that being said, you just answered my questions, and I appreciate it. I just want to see what that impact would be, and if those individuals. And you said that's anybody. Do you know what rate they will be going back? Is that rate is already set, or you are going to look to try to give them any more monies? Or through the ETF? I don't know, or supplemental, or.
Well, no, there's no additional appropriation allocated. It's just whatever this current per district, whatever salary they have. But my bill doesn't change anything or provide any additional appropriation. It just create a pathway to fill that gap.
Okay, well, like I said, I think it's a good bill, and I just wanted to actually say it, as such.
Well, thank you. I think we're recording this, so we will. I definitely.
Yeah, they don't ever turn the mic. They don't turn the camera off on me. So and they keep it on because I'm accused of certain things all the time by some of these lobbyists and governmental affairs or what I said. So I go back and go down to APT. And I get them to roll the tape back, so I can then say the devil is a lie.
Okay. Well, I definitely appreciate your.
So like I say, I wake up, good morning, Lord. So yeah, now, the tape is gonna be on when I'm up here. It's rare that it's not. It's only a few occasions. So yeah. So I've been able to go downstairs, and some people come back and apologize. They say, Gavan, I wanted to apologize. I didn't hear that right. And then you have some that, but I'm good.
All right. Well, definitely. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Chair, thanks, lady. Chair recognizes the lady from Madison, Representative Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The gentleman yield.
Yes, ma'am.
In your discussions about using retired individuals, bus drivers, with the retirement system, was there any thoughts or any conversation relative to how we can address this shortage? If these retired bus drivers have generally spent most of their lives doing this, they've retired, so they're not going to last very long. So we're dealing with a shortage. Any thoughts, any comments relative to what we're going to do to address the shortage, just as we're doing some of the other activities, or other thoughts or processes?
Well, maybe I misspoke earlier. I noticed you said I want to make this clarify. This is not just for retired bus drivers. This is for any state retiree that's in
I missed that part.
the system. So
This is for but you're saying it's not just for bus drivers. You
Both
mentioned
retirees.
bus drivers.
Yes, it's for all state retirees that have retired from the RSA system.
Can become a bus driver.
Whether you're a bus driver, a teacher, this is a pathway to fill the gap for a bus driver.
So I'm clear on that. My comment is, at some point, we must address the shortage, because these individuals the retirees are not going to be able to drive very long. If they're already retired, that's a short length of time. I'm looking for what process are we putting in place to keep our retirement system viable?
But very good question, and I like the sunset we have as far as 2030. The reason I like that sunset is going to challenge us to do exactly that. Between now and 2030, as we fill in our immediate shortage of problem, by placing a sunset of 2030, it's going to force or challenge us to look at the progress, how we're trying to fill the void in long term. This is a short-term solution, and I think we have a mechanism, and because of this conversation, my bill doesn't address the long term. This is a short term, but to answer your question, are we looking, try to address the long term? And yes, we have to do that. And I think this conversation over the last 3 months with RSA, our state superintendents, our local school systems, we have to do that. But my bill do not address the long term, no.
I understand it. And my only reason for being up here is to say that we must address the problem. I don't think we need to wait till 2030, though. I think we may, and I'd be willing to work with you, but that you may need to come back and form, task force or work with the retirement system in terms of what they see. But there has to be something, training. We are finding that people do want to work, even though there's a rumor out there that there are people that don't want to work. People want to work, but they want to be paid well and have the benefits of that. So that's all. My reason for making these comments is that we begin to address a way in which we can take care of this shortage and not necessarily. and have those individuals that are involved would be continuing to pay into the retirement system, because we can't afford to continue to do it this way. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Chair thanks the lady. The question for the body is final passage of HB 138. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine and record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. HB 138 has passed.
Thank you, members.
Good job. Thank you. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 7 of the calendar, House Bill number 80 with substitute by Representative Butler relating to evictions.
Representative Butler, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill deals with evictions and the process of notification for the disposition of a tenant's property and laying out the logistics. Currently, there is no law for such. Back during the summer, the Sheriff's Department reached out to me in Etowah County asking what the law was. I told them what I thought it was, which is what they thought it was, and they couldn't find it. After I couldn't find it, I reached out to LSA, and I learned that there is only an administrative rule. And the administrative rule actually puts all the burden on the Sheriff's Department to actually inventory, to move and store all the tenant's furnishings, which, that's not going to be the case. So this would lay out the notification for the tenant of what's going on, when their property would be set out, and all the sheriff's responsibility would be is to keep the peace, but the landlord is responsible for cleaning out the house and disposing of the property. With that, I move for the BR.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Shelby, Representative Bedsoe.
Hey, good morning. I just wanted to take this opportunity to come up as someone whose career law enforcement has worked for Sheriff's Office my entire career. Appreciate your efforts with the bill. Officially codifying the language that we have unofficially always followed for years in terms of evictions and the put-out process or set-out process. And just for the benefit of the members, to fully explain that this process is a very lengthy process that is followed in a very formalized way. A lot of deference is given to the person that is inside the home.
Yes.
The legal process has been very thorough in that to ensure that no one is removed from their home without all the due process they're required. And so the language you've inserted this bill gives everyone the necessary needed protections, especially those involved in the formal process from the Sheriff's Office side of it. So just wanted to tell you thank you, and I really appreciate the wording that you've added into the law here. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the lady from Jefferson, Representative Hollis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will you please give me the process again of with the tenant versus the landlord? And I understand what you're doing.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know that the sheriff usually have a backlog that they're backed up and can't get to everyone. So what is your process and what your bill is doing?
Okay, and this is what is actually taking place currently, but what this bill does is the sheriff comes out, it says sheriff, constable, and then we have a sub where they amended it to add a special process server also, but they come out to keep the peace only. The landlord would be responsible for changing the locks, disposing of the property, and as a realtor, 99 out of 100 times the house has been vacated and only debris is left there.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but if there was furniture there, it protects the sheriff and the landlord from any immunity. Say someone says my grandmother's $10,000 bracelet was there, where is it? Or you chipped my living room furniture or something.
So are they giving the tenants time to move out?
Yes.
Or
yes.
so basically you giving them time to move out and not putting their things on the sidewalk.
Right, and this right now there currently is no requirement to notify them of the disposition. This requires that to track it down all they can to make every effort possible. That protection is no longer there, but yes, that is adding that protection for the tenant.
So basically the tenant is able to have a certain length of time to move out. So are we saying that now the sheriff is not moving their things out for them.
That's correct.
And leaving
And
it
that
on the
has-
sidewalks
To
and in
my
the yard.
knowledge, that's never taken place, at least in our county. It's always been the landlord. We have been in this business for 26 years. It's why they reached out to me, and I thought I knew the law, but there was no law. And I was shocked when we had a meeting with our presiding judge, with the sheriff's department, and everybody was floored that there was no law, only the administrative rule, and that administrative rule only applied to foreclosures.
Right, right. So well, I'm glad that you brought this bill. I support it 100%.
Thank you.
Because I myself do property management, and we see a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you know more about it than all of us.
Right.
Ann.
So and some folks, well, I'm not gonna say that,
Hmm.
but I'm glad that you're allowing them time to get the things out, and it's not being moved out. It's just thrown on the sidewalks.
Right, because
So-
no landlord wants to take possession of their property.
Right, absolutely.
Nor do they want to deal with it.
Right. So thank you for the bill.
Thank you, ma'am.
Chair, thanks, lady. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Mobile, Representative Stringer.
Mr. Gentleman, you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for bringing this, and thank you for all the people that you've worked with to try to make sure that we get the bugs worked out of it and make sure it's a good bill. A lot of people didn't realize there were some loopholes there and some problems with it, and I think this is going to take and fix that. But thank you for working with all of us to try to make it work.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Shelby, Representative Mooney.
Thank you, sir. Just by way of addition to what Representative Hollis was saying, currently, we have great issues in situations where people are coming into rental properties, particularly fairly nice, if not considered really nice apartment complexes. And they'll come in and they'll have 3 months free rent or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's happening is the eviction process occurs because they don't pay any rent after the free rent.
Right.
Then the possessions and everything are put out literally outside the door of the rental unit. It hurts both the owner of the property, the management company dealing with it, the people who live next door to it. And this provides an orderly process in which to protect not just the rights of the person who owns the property, they clearly will understand what's going to happen, but it also protects, the owners of the property, the leasing agents, and everybody else. It's a really good piece of pertinent legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Question for the body now is the adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 104 ayes, 0 nays. The BR has been adopted. Representative Butler.
Mr. Speaker, I move we have a committee sub.
Security, explain your sub, please.
Yes, sir. We had a couple of friendly amendments. One added the word special process server. Another one added 7 calendar days instead of just 7 days. There was a couple of tweaks on the immunity. One dealing with the sheriff's deputy has to be within the scope of his duties. But with that, I would move for adoption.
Yeah, you've heard the explanation of the sub. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 102 ayes, 0 nays. Substitute has been adopted. Representative Butler.
Move for final passage, sir.
That is questions. Final passage substituted. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. HB 80 has passed as substituted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members.
Thank the gentleman. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 38 of the calendar, House Bill number 116 by Representative Oliver, relating to Volunteer Rescue Squad Tuition Reimbursement Program.
Chairman Oliver, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is workforce preparedness for first responders. It takes existing funds that are flow through from the ETF through the 2-year colleges and the University of South Alabama, makes them available to the 6 regional EMS councils so that they can set up EMS training at local fire departments, ambulance services, that sort of thing, for small groups of people who are interested in this sort of training in exchange for 2 years of service to the particular organization that provides the training. Good program. We passed this last year, died in the Senate. I think it's very helpful for those people who are volunteers that don't have the time to go to a 2-year school to get this sort of training. It's very valuable for rural health care and rural service. With that, I'd ask the BIR.
Next question is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 100 ayes, 0 nays. The BIR has been adopted. Mr. Chairman.
If there are no questions, I'd ask for a vote.
That is the questions. Final passage of HB 116. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 100 ayes, 0 nays. HB 116 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, gentlemen. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 5 of the calendar, House Bill number 39 by Representative Brown relating to the seafood dealer's license.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So this is House Bill 39. We passed this last year and actually made it all the way through, signed by the governor, but there was an error in the legislation that left off a section of code. Then what this does, we created a marketing program through Sweet Grown Alabama, and originally intended to be in that were line fishermen, net fishermen, oystermen, shrimpers, and crabbers, and half of them were left off. So this just fixes that error for them.
Very good. Question for the body is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine. Members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the votes. 95 ayes, 4 nays. The BIR has been adopted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I call for final passage.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Randolph, Representative Fincher.
Thank you for the recognition, Mr. Speaker. Representative Brown.
Yes, sir.
I remember we passed this last year. Could you give me just kind of a summary of what the grocers in the state are expected to pay and dealing with getting certification to sell seafood in general?
So the original intent of this legislation was that we would create a marketing program, and the grocers agreed to it. Then they, on their wholesale license, it's $200 extra per year that goes towards marketing Gulf seafood, Alabama seafood. Right. And the original intent was to exclude those that catch the seafood from having to pay that extra fee. And instead, by leaving half of that section off, then they were included in the program. Okay. So they were meant to be excluded, and somehow that was in the original amendment, but by the time it made it to the governor's office, it was an error and half of them were included. So it just had line fishermen and net fishermen, but not shrimp.
Dropped everybody else off.
It dropped everybody else off, yeah.
At this point, what fee? Now, my understanding is the grocers pay a fee just to sell seafood as well.
It's $400 a year.
$400 a year, and
Total.
We've added on.
No, well, it's
200.
With this, it's 400 total.
It's a total of 400. It's 200 apiece.
Right.
For each part of it.
Which is actually below the average for Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida.
All right.
Yeah.
You answered my question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Representative.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the question is, we do final passage, we get samples to the chain, yeah.
Well, we have a seafood night, as we all know.
Okay.
Cooked by the people
All
of Alabama.
right.
So everyone come and get free seafood.
There you go. That's the question. For the body's final passage of HB 39, clerk will unlock the machine and members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 89 ayes, 7 nays. HB 39 has passed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members.
Thank you, gentlemen. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 7 of the calendar, House Bill number 69 with substitute by Representative Hammett relating to the Department of Environmental Management.
Representative Hammett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 69 deals with the licensing of water well contractors. We passed this bill last year, just didn't get through the Senate. There's been no changes to what the qualifications are about being licensed water well contractor in the state since 1982. This bill will form two licenses, non-restricted and restricted license. It's also putting in requirements of 8 hours of continuing education every 2 years. It's providing for enforcement also. Mr. Speaker, I'll ask for the BIR.
That is questions, adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 98 ayes, 0 nays. The BIR has been adopted.
Mr. Speaker, we have a sub.
Here to explain your sub for us.
Yes, sir. In the definitions of the different kind of boreholes, it said excavation drilled, and it needed to be borehole drilled. That's the only change.
You've heard the gentleman's explanation. The question now is adoption. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 95 ayes, 0 nays. Substitute has been adopted. Representative Hammett.
I'd ask for final passage, Mr. Speaker.
That is questions, final pass as substituted. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 93 ayes, 0 nays. HB 69 has passed as substituted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, body.
Thank the gentleman. Clerk, call the next bill.
On page 37 of the calendar, House Bill 3 with substitute by Representative Brown relating to taxation.
Chairman Brown, how many friends you got on that rules committee is what I want to know.
That's a secret, Mr.
It wasn't until today.
It's International Seafood Day.
I got you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have House Bill 3, which this brings commercial seafood in line with our agriculture products. And what this does, it exempts those individuals that sell their own seafood, say off their boat, roadside stand, that sort of thing. It brings it in line with agriculture. And retail, thank you, Mr. Speaker, I call for the BIR.
I think that's what they're looking for. Clerk will unlock the machines and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 103 ayes. That's pretty good.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We had an amendment also on this.
Record the votes. I'm sorry. Okay. You care to explain the amendment to us,
Sure.
please?
What this does is working with the Department of Revenue and Department of Conservation, it just makes it a little tighter where it specifies commercial seafood and not anyone that might be out fishing. So it just tightens it up, makes it a better piece of legislation.
Yeah, you heard the gentleman's explanation of the sub. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. Substitute has been adopted. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I call for final passage.
Ask questions. Final passage substituted. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. HB 3 has passed as substituted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, members.
Thanks, Chairman. Clerk, call next bill.
On page 4 of the calendar, House Bill number 74 by Representative Robertson relating to retirement benefits.
Representative Robertson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Body, this passed last year through the House and then it died in the Senate, but it didn't die. It never made it to the floor. But this bill would require certain county or municipality agencies to present the qualifying officer with his or her agency-issued badge as a part of his or her retirement benefits. This bill would authorize certain county municipal agencies to present a qualifying officer with his or her agency-issued pistol as a part of his or her retirement benefits. This bill would also authorize certain county or municipalities to sell an agency-issued pistol to a qualified officer at the time of his or her retirement and circumstances. With that, I ask for the BIR, sir.
This question is adoption of the BIR. Clerk will unlock the machine, the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the votes. 99 ayes, 0 nays. BR has been adopted. Representative Robertson.
With that, I ask for final passage.
That's question final passage of HB 74. Clerk will unlock the machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. HB 74 has passed.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, body.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Clerk, we have an executive message. Just pull it out of the basket, please.
Message from the governor, ladies and gentlemen. Enclosed, please find a message from the governor returning House Joint Resolution Number 4 without the governor's signature and with a proposed executive amendment. Respectfully submitted.
The chair recognizes Chairman Reynolds to explain the executive amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's simply the family had some additions they wanted to make to that resolution, just talking about more of the great things that Howard Sanford has done, and certainly I concur with the amendment.
Gentleman's wishes is to concur. Clerk will unlock machine. The members will vote. Clerk will lock machine. Record the vote. 103 ayes, 0 nays. The concurrence has passed.
Thank you, members.
Thank you, gentlemen. I think we have a motion to reconsider by Representative Barnes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to reconsider the vote for the resolution of local application.
Got you. Motion for the body is reconsider the vote for the resolution for local application. All those in favor will say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Clerk will unlock the machine and the members will vote. Clerk will lock the machine. Record the vote. 63 ayes. Yeah. 1 nay. The vote has been reconsidered. Okay, so my understanding, we have some problem with the machine, so we got to vote again on the local application.
He pulled it off of that. He made a mistake on that.
Clerk unlock machine, the members will vote. Clerk will lock machine, record the vote. 58 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passes. The question now is final passage. Okay, my bad. I've got behind myself. Thank everybody's attention before we adjourn. It's certainly a great day today in the House. I commend everybody for their work. Great conversation. I do want you to be aware of what we talked about earlier about the weather. And we will be sending something out to all the members probably Sunday afternoon on how we will go forward. So just bear in mind of that, and certainly we want everybody to be safe. So that, Mr. Pro Tem.
Ms. Wilcox, I think we need your presence in the well. Apparently Saturday is Representative Hammett's birthday. So since I can't sing.
So just to be clear, I don't get to talk about being in the well. Okay, sorry. All right, would everybody please join me in singing happy birthday? Laura Hall, Hammett, and who else? Kenny McClammy. Okay. Everybody ready? It's going to be fun when we say the name. Now let's just say y'all. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, y'all. Happy birthday to y'all. Happy birthday to you.
If anybody's missing a pair of glasses, Alan Baker gave them to me. Come get them, pair of glasses. With that, Mr. Speaker, I move the House stand in adjournment.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.